Greg, you want to talk about biblical reasons why Christians should get vaccinated? I'm interested.
Yes. Good guy, Greg. What you got?
Okay, well, first of all, the next time somebody calls with the abortion question, ask them how long they should give up the absolute right to their kidneys.
We've had that conversation before.
Yeah.
And
Okay,
some people take
anyway.
issue with that, but why? What's the biblical reason, Greg? We gotta end this show.
Okay. So this is a public service. This is a public service announcement for Christians who say
Pay
they
attention,
have
Christians.
clearly held religious belief against getting vaccinated. Okay. So this is Romans 13:1-5. Let every
Are
person
you going to talk about
subject
submitting to the
governing
government authorities? Oh my goodness.
Yeah, exactly. And then the second one is 1 Peter 2:13-15. Be subject for the Lord's sake to every human institution, whether it be the emperor as supreme or to governors as sent by him to punish those who do evil and praise those who do good, for this is the will of God. And then Titus 2:1, remind them to be submissive to rulers and authorities, to be obedient, to be ready for every good work.
This is an interesting thing because, I grew up in church, man. I've heard sermons during certain administrations where these exact passages that you are citing get brought up a lot. Where this idea that God installs earthly rulers, nothing happens without, God's stamp of approval, where that is the thing. It's like, listen, if you disrespect, the government, you're disrespecting God, that kind of a thing. But I've noticed that it depends. It seems to depend on the political leanings of the preacher. And it all points back to the Bible being this big Rorschach test.
Yeah. Doesn't it always depend though?
Yeah.
Well, this is what I say about that. When a Republican wins, it is the will of an all-knowing, all-powerful creator of the eyeball and the cosmos. When a Democrat wins, God is a gigantic pussy.
And it depends on the church.
Yeah.
Depends on the church, man.
Will can be thwarted by a dead Venezuelan.
But, well, I mean, I got you, Greg. I just think that you're going to, if you try this on Christians, you're going to run into problems because, again, the Bible's the big Rorschach test. And there, for every passage saying you listen to the governing authorities, you're going to have Christians who are going to tell you, well, we don't have to listen to, the government when they're telling us to sin, or we don't have to listen to an oppressive government, that we have every right to throw off, the yoke of oppression from all those scientists who want us to, live longer lives and be free from disease
and prosper.
Yeah.
Except for that first quote, which says that God chooses the authorities.
Well, yeah, but listen, man, the Bible also says that, unless you give away all your shit to the poor, you can't really follow Jesus. But they don't really take it. Again, it's
there's
the big
so
Rorschach
many
test.
There's so many different kinds of Christians. My liberal progressive Christians, they use all the touchy-feely Jesus shit, and my conservative Christians are all fire and brimstone and all of that. I think you're painting with too broad of a brush on this one, Greg, but I get where you're coming from. I get the sentiment. I feel that way oftentimes when I hear the news too, but there's all kinds of Christians. Some of them want to work together and some of them just want to crush you under the foot of their dogma.
Yeah. And it's like, there's a verse for,
I'm not worried about the former.
There's a verse for everything, man. I mean, that's the thing. You will find people like my favorite example of this in American history would be on the issue of slavery, because you had people arguing from the pulpit on both sides of the issue, arguing for and against slavery. And you'll find that with everything. Yeah. It's
but one of them was biblically correct. One of them was biblically correct and one of them wasn't, right?
Again, depends on who you talk to. I mean, it's
well, Matt Dillahunty would argue that the ones who were for slavery were biblically correct.
Well, okay, and just to put a pin on this, yes, the Bible explicitly sanctions slavery, but the Bible also says stuff like love your neighbor. The Bible also talks about
not kidnapping people.
But that's a stretch.
But it's all a stretch, man. It's all a stretch.
Yeah. It's a garbage fire.
No,
the garbage fire.
I think I think condoning slavery is explicit. I think the other is you have to sort of stretch it a little bit.
Well,
Okay.
again, good luck using this on Christians, but I'm
Yeah,
just trying
yeah.
to give you the warning that
No,
you're
no.
going to find people on all sides of it.
I don't doubt. I agree with you. I don't doubt that they're going to that they're going to give me some kind of argument, but I
And the reason I bring this up is that
correct.
the key to trying to be effective in communicating with people is this empathy, is trying to put yourself in their shoes and understand their position. Because if you just come in and say, hey, look, the Bible says you're supposed to submit to the governing authorities, people are going to be like, well, I disagree with that, and I've got verses in my back pocket to say why. So that's all I'm trying to say, Greg. We got to wrap the show up, my man.
People,
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you for calling, Greg. Thank you for calling, Greg. Yes.